Google Ads dynamic marketing is a really powerful tool. However, for this tool, your algorithm needs your e-commerce event data such as item details, item ID, item name, value, and all the other good stuff. By the end of this video, you can see how we can configure remarketing tags to track view item event and send all the dynamic parameters such as item ID, item details, and all the other good stuff back to the Google Ads. However, before jumping into that, we need to make sure that we do have our Google Tag Manager container properly firing on all the pages of the website. So let's just get to my computer so we can get the head and the body scripts that we need to add to the Shopify containers. So on your Google Tag Manager account, you can click on the container ID that you have on the top right corner, and this will show you the head and the body snippet that we need. So let's just copy the head snippet first and go to our Shopify store. Under online store, you will find an option for themes if you have proper access to the store, and then on the action button, click on the three dots. And on the action button, click on the three dots and click on edit code. This will take you to the backend of your Shopify store where you have access to all the theme files and all the other code. So be careful about the changes that you're going to make. For this one, we are going to locate the theme.liquid file. For this one, we are going to locate theme.liquid file and we are going to paste the head container code right below the head opening tag. Now we need to do the same thing for the body code. So let's just go back to Google Tag Manager container and get the body code. And on our Shopify store, let's just do a quick search for the opening body tag. For me, the opening body tag is on line 294. So I'm just going to create some space underneath it and paste the body container code right here. We can hit format code and hit save. And this should probably configure Google Tag Manager properly on your Shopify store. But let's just make sure everything is working all right. Let's just go back to the Google Tag Manager container and click on the preview button. This preview window is going to connect a temporary debug window with your Shopify store, so you will have a few minutes to see what kind of events are firing. Once you hit connect on your debug window, this will open your website. And if you have this Chrome legacy extension for Google Tag Assistant, you can see what kind of tags are firing on your website. Now we need to make sure that our Google Tag Manager container is properly firing on all the pages of the website. So let's just click on the preview button on the top right corner of our Google Tag Manager web container and add the URL of our website. Once you add the URL of your website, it will create a temporary debug window and this will be connected with your store, and you can see all the tags and trigger that will fire on your store. If you have this Google Chrome legacy extension for Google Tag Assistant, you can see all the tags and trigger that are firing on your site. I can see that my Google Tag Manager container is properly loading, my Tag Assistant is connected, and if I go back to the debug window, it is also connected. So that means everything is working alright so far. In the description of the video, you will find a code snippet for the head data layer, product data layer, and the theme.liquid file. So let's just copy these codes and add them to the Shopify store one by one. So let's just copy the head data layer code first. And in our Shopify store, to make everything really consistent, we are going to create some snippets. So under the snippets, let's create a first snippet and name it head-data layer. Let's hit save, and we can paste the code that we have copied from the website and write under this file. Great. Once we have edited code, we need to create another snippet for the view item event. So let's create another snippet and let's rename it to DataLayer-products. And let's hit save. Now we can go back to the website and copy the code that we need to paste under the product data layer, and on our Shopify store, let's paste this code and hit save. Now the only thing left is to make sure that all of the code is properly imported on our theme file. So let's just go back to the theme file and copy the code that we need to add here. On your Shopify store, let's just search for the opening body tag again. For me, the body tag is on line 294, and right under the Google Tag Manager body snippet code, we are going to paste this code that we have copied. Let's hit save. And before moving forward, let me just take a few minutes to explain what this piece of code is doing that we have added to your store. So this line right here, this is just trying to paste all the code that we have inside the head data layer. And what head data layer is doing is that it is making sure if the user is on the product page, then it renders this thing. And this piece of code is just making sure that a custom view item list event is fired with all the item details such as item ID, item name, currency, brand, etc. This is the information that we are going to use for the remarketing tag in Google Ads. Perfect. Now we have everything ready. And before going forward, let's just make sure that this tag is also working properly fine. So on our debug window, we can navigate to any of our product pages. And with the help of the debug window that is connected with our Shopify store, we can see all the data layer events that will fire on that page. Once the page has properly loaded and the Google Tag Manager is connected, we can go back to the debug window and see that we have this custom view item event. And this has all the details of name, currency, brand, category, and all the other variants. Perfect. Now we can move to the third step of the video where we need to create a conversion action in our Google Ads so that we can actually get the conversion IDs and the conversion labels that we need to add in our Google Ads account, that we need to add in our Google Tag Manager account. Great. On your Google Ads account, you can go to the goals, and under the conversion, you will find the summary action. This is where all of the conversion action that you will create are available here. This is the newer version of Google Ads account. However, if you want to navigate to the older version, you can click on appearances and then use the previous design. However, since this new design is going to be more consistent, we are going to stick with this one. Let's create a new conversion action for view content or view item so that conversion action will track the events on our website. Since we don't want to import anything from Google Analytics, we are creating our own ads. We are creating our own tags. So we are going to select website option. Now we need to paste the URL of our website. Let's just paste the URL of our website and hit scan. And we are going to create manual conversion action. You can use the first option if you want to create events based on page URLs. However, we want to fire the events through Google Tag Manager and the DataLayer. So let's add a conversion action manually. Now we are going to add some details since this view item event is not in any of the event categories. So let's just add it either in page views or others. I usually like to add it in a page view event because this event is properly firing on the page view. Let's rename this action to view item, and this will have a value which will be different for all of the events. And let's just hit save. You can change any of the settings that we want. However, for this video, it is not the concern. Let's just hit save and continue. Now this will take you to the next screen where we will have the option to get the conversion IDs and the conversion labels. So let's just click on use Google Tag Manager and copy the conversion ID. And this is the ID that we need in our Google Tag Manager container. And this is the conversion label that will be required. Let's just create the variables in Google Tag Manager so we don't have to copy them again and again from our Google Ads account. So let's just head back to the Google Tag Manager container, and under the variable section, we are going to create two different variables. One is for Google Ads conversion ID and one is going to be for Google Ads conversion label. So let's just create the conversion ID first. And for this one, I am going to go with the constant variable. Let's rename it to GAds conversion ID and let's hit save. Now we need to do the same thing for the conversion label. Let's copy the conversion label and create a new conversion, and let's rename it to GAds conversion label view item. So I know that so I will remember that which conversion action it belongs. Let's hit save, and now we need to create a trigger that will only fire on this view custom event. So let's just copy the name of this variable so we don't misspell it, and on our Google Tag Manager container, let's just create a constant, and on our Google Tag Manager container, let's create a custom event which will be custom underscore view item. Let's rename it to custom event custom underscore view item and hit save. Now we need to create a tag that will fire whenever this particular trigger is triggered inside the data layer. So let's just create a new, and since we want this tag to fire only on the custom view item, and we can select the remarketing tag for this. Let's select Google Ads remarketing tag, and for the conversion ID, we can create the conversion ID that we have already created, and for the conversion label, we can select the conversion label that we have already created for this one. We can also see that it is showing us an error that we need a conversion linker. So let's just also create a conversion linker. Conversion linker is basically a global site tag for Google Ads account, and it is required for all the pages. So let's just create this one first. Let's name it to Google Ads conversion linker and hit save. Great. Now we need to make sure that we are actually sending all the dynamic data. So let's just hit set, and the name of the event is view underscore item. The value is inside e-commerce dot. The value of the view content event is actually the price of the product itself. So we can navigate it through e-commerce dot items dot price. So let's just go back to the Google Tag Manager container and create a data layer variable that will go inside that array and get the value. So in our data layer variable, we can write e-commerce dot items dot zero dot price. To learn more about how data layer variable work, you can refer to another series on the YouTube channel. So let's rename the variable to data layer variable and name the price and hit save. Now we have properly configured the price of this one, and now we need to make sure that we are properly referring to the items array. So we need to create another variable for this one, which will refer to the e-commerce dot items array for this one, because we do have this items array and we can refer it right here. So in our Google Tag Manager container, we can create another data layer variable for e-commerce dot items, and let's rename the variable to dlv e-commerce dot item and hit save. Perfect. Now we have properly configured all the things that we needed for this one, and let's rename the tag to gads remarketing tag view item and hit save. Great. Before firing off, let's just make sure that everything is working all right. So we can hit the preview window again. So this new updated Google Tag Manager container is connected with our website. And on our website, we can navigate to any of the product pages now. Right now, I'm going to the product page 3. And on our debug window, we can see that this custom event has fired, and this has triggered a Google Ads remarketing tag. Let's just click on the preview button on the top right corner of our Google Tag Manager container just to make sure that everything is working all right and the remarketing tags are properly firing. So let's just connect with our website to the debug window and navigate to any of the product pages on our store. And let's just go to any of the product pages. Let's just navigate to any of the product pages on our Shopify store. And using this Google Tag Legacy Assistant, you can see that the Google Ads tag has fired, and if you click on the request and go to the URL, you can see all the event parameters that have been sent with this event array. We are sending the item's name, the value, and all the other things that we need for the remarketing tag. We have properly configured the view item event, and the only thing left is to make sure that all the JGs are live. So let's just make sure everything is published. Ads remarketing view item. However, this view item event is not going to perform really well if you don't have the conversion tracking configured for the view content event on your Google Tag Manager. Just click on this video where we will guide you how you can track your Google Ads conversion tracking using Google Tag Manager on your Shopify.